Good day everyone and welcome to Juraj Talks. Today I am here with napakaganda at napakagwapong mga guests. I am here with Cedric Giangan, Jean Camille, Jenica Ella Basalan, and Debbie Algizor.
Hi guys! So, kamusta kayo?
Yeah, kumusta kayo guys? So we are glad na naging guest kami dito sa Juraj Talks.
Yes.
Okay, so today pag-uusapan natin ang isang very common but super critical issue sa education system ng Pilipinas, which is overcrowded classrooms in public schools.
Heavy topic talaga to ngayon. Pero real talk talaga to.
Yan, sobrang real talk Sid. Kasi nga sa ibang schools, especially sa mga urban areas, kulang na lang na magkapatong-patong na yung mga bata sa sobrang dami ng students sa isang classroom. Yung supposed to be na comfortable learning environment, nagiging siksikan, mainit, at minsan mahirap na talaga mag-focus both for students and teachers. Mismo silang dalawa ang kawawa.
True, nakaka-drain kaya kapag mainit na, mainit pa.
Kaya nga, ang goal natin today is hindi lang mag-complain kundi i-analyze siya using different ethical perspective like utilitarianism, deontology, natural law, and virtue ethics. Let's start. Debbie, simulan mo.
So, ayun. Salamat, Rod. So, from the perspective of utilitarianism naman, ang basis ng tama or mali ay kung ano ang makakapag-produce ng greatest good for the greatest number of people. So, in the shortest term naman, yung mas nakakarami ang makakatulong.
Parang cost-benefit analysis ba?
Yes, exactly, Jean. So, in this case, kapag overcrowded ang classrooms, maraming students ang affected. Hindi lang isa or dalawa, kundi majority ng public school sector natin. Based sa data ng Department of Education, maraming public schools sa Philippines ang may shortage pa rin sa classrooms, lalo na sa mga densely populated areas kagaya ng Metro Manila.
So, talagang napakatalong yan doon.
So kaya nga from a utilitarian point of view, mas okay and ethical right na mag-invest ang gobyerno sa additional classrooms and teachers. So bakit? Kasi mas marami students ang makikinabang, mas gaganda yung learning outcomes, and mas magiging productive din sila in the near future. Bawas breakdown dagdag na din, di ba?
Yun, so make sense din. Parang high investment pero maximum output para sa bayan. Pero paano naman kung duties ang usapan? Jenica, your turn.
Sige, so ayun na. Sa deontology naman, we shift our focus from the outcome to the duty or obligation itself. Immanuel Kant writes,
Oh, strictly by the rules?
yes, Jean, that's exactly what I mean. Kahit mahirap ang buhay, kahit limitado ang resources ng bansa, may absolute responsibility pa rin ang government of schools na bigyan ng students ng proper learning environment. Bale, no excuses kumbaga ba? So according to UNICEF Philippines, overcrowded classrooms make it harder for teachers to give attention sa bawat student, which directly affects fairness and
So, bagay, paano mo nga naman matutupan yung bata? Hindi makukuha yung naman sila sa sabay.
Yes.
So, kawawa yung naiiwan.
Yes, ayun mismo ang point ko. So, in simple terms, kahit may challenges in the duty of the education system to fix this. Bakit? Kasi hindi naman privilege ang education karapatan ng bawat student ang quality education, period.
Grabe, karapatan, hindi pribilehiyo. I love that. Jean, tignan naman natin to from human nature itself. Ano ang masasabi mo ng natural law?
Salamat, George. Sa natural law perspective naman, ang focus natin dito is human nature and human development. Naniniwala tayo rito na natural sa mga tao ang matuto, mag-grow at mag-develop ng skill at upper. Nurturing environment, design tayo para doon.
Eh paano kung hindi nurture yung environment kagaya ng crowded rooms natin?
Ayun na nga ang problema, Deb. Kapag overcrowded ang classroom, directly na aapektuhan at nabablock yung natural learning process ng students. Nahihirapan silang mag-focus, mag-participate, and minsan hindi na talaga optimal yung learning experience. Hihilain ka talaga pabalik. In fact, according to the World Bank, overcrowding in classroom is actually one of the major barriers to quality education sa mga developing countries like the Philippines.
So parang pinipigilan natin silang ma-reach yung full human potential nila?
Exactly. So basically, ang overcrowding ay ethical violation sa natural law kasi against siya sa natural development at flourishing ng isang student.
Yes.
Ang bigat ng flourishing, parang halaman na sinisiksik sa madilim na sulok. Last but definitely not the least, Cedric, paano naman ipapasok ang values natin dito?
Para naman sa uling bagsakan natin, sa virtue ethics, hindi tayo nakatutok sa rules or sa resulta. So, focus natin dito is characters and values, yung pagiging mabuting tao or pagiging mabuting magulang. So, dito, importante yung virtues like compassion, responsibility, and justice.
Yeah, malasakit sa madaling salita, di ba?
Oh, yes, tama. So, malasakit talaga, for example, dapat may compassion leaders and policymakers natin para maintindihan nila yung totoong struggles and ng students at ng teachers sa overcrowded classrooms. Hindi lang sila basta statistics sa papel.
True, madaling pumirma ng budget kapag naka-aircon ka naman sa opisina.
Grabe ka doon, pero may point ka. Kaya nga kasunod niya ng responsibility, yung lakas ng loob to make a concrete decision na makaka-improve sa system. And of course, justice para fair ang access ng lahat ng students to quality education, mayaman man o mahirap, kasi nga according ulit sa UNICEF, learning conditions directly affect students' well-being. So importante talaga na may malasakit na tamang moral decision making sa education system natin.
Wow, thank you guys. Grabe ang talas ng naging discussion natin ngayon, no? So if you look closely at what everyone shared, the four ethical frameworks analyze the issue of overcrowded classrooms from different but interconnected perspectives. So para sa mabilisang summary muna tayo, utilitarianism focuses on consequences and asks whether fixing these classrooms create more benefit or more harm for society as a whole. So deontological ethics focuses on duty and ask whether institutions like DepEd and government fulfill their moral responsibility to the public. Natural law focuses on human dignity and ask whether our students' basic needs and well-being are protected during their development. And lastly, virtue ethics focuses on leadership and ask whether decision makers demonstrate wisdom, justice, and compassion.
Ang ganda ng pagkaka-web, George. All angles are covered.
No, so salamat Sid, kasi although these frameworks differ in approach, they actually complement one another. Pinapakita lang nito at pinapadiinan na ang mga economic at structural decisions ng bansa natin should not only focus on budget, constraints, or profit, but also on fairness, responsibility, human welfare, and ethical leadership.
Yeah, that's so true.
So as supported by DepEd, UNICEF, and the World Bank, kailangan talaga ng long-term concrete solutions like building more classrooms, hiring more teachers with better pay, and improving educational support. At the end of the day, let's remind everyone that education is a right, and every Filipino students deserve a learning environment where they can actually learn properly, breathe freely, and reach their full potential.
Yes.
No? So, thank you so much for listening to our podcast. This has been your host, Neo, along with
Abby,
Monica?
Cedric,
this is Juraj Talks. Hanggang sa muli.
Peace out!
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.